Women deserve to have a supportive network of like-minded women who empower, discover, and embrace her true divinity. We believe when women feel safe, loved, accepted, they feel empowered to achieve their goals and highest values. And this is what we bring to you through our organization.
All right. Hello, welcome everyone.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to week 7 of your 12-week challenge. Today we have something very exciting. As you can see, we have our first guest speaker, and her name is Hanna Zörer. She is my cousin. We are living both in the same city here in Vienna, and I'm very pleased and honored to bring her here today about a very important topic, something that was mentioned often also to us that people are struggling with. It was very much connected to the mental health, which we talked about in week 5, where people said they are stressed, they've experienced anxiety, stress and fear, and they want to feel more peaceful and calm. So today's topic is going to be about emotional health, and I have an expert here today on that topic. Hanna studied emotion code from Nelson Bradley 3 years ago, and ever since then she has helped already many people to overcome their emotional struggles that they have and really manage them in a healthy way. And she's going to share about this with us today and give us at the end some tips what we can do to take care of our emotional health. So Hanna, welcome. I'm very happy to be here with you together.
Thank you. Thank you for your lovely introduction. Yeah, so Diana said everything. No. Yeah, I'm an emotion code practitioner. I do this work since a couple of years. I'm happy that I could help people emotionally, also mentally or physically. Emotion code is basically an energy healing method where it helps you to get rid of emotional luggage. If you don't treat emotions in a healthy way, they can get trapped in your body, and they can cause also a lot of issues, mental issues, emotional or health issues like pain. And yeah, an emotion code, you get rid of these emotions which cause trouble, basically. Yeah. And our today's topic, as dear Diana mentioned, is emotional health. I want to start with an introduction. What are emotions? How do we deal with them? Then I want to talk about emotional problems. And at the end, as Diana said, about tips how to be emotionally balanced, how to be healthy. So, what are emotions? You can think about that. Basically, emotion is energy. Emotion is not bad, it's not good. It doesn't matter which emotion it is, even if you say anger, sadness. Maybe people think it's negative, but actually it's neutral. It's just energy. And the way we deal as our adult self with emotions comes usually from our childhood. How do people treat our feelings? Are our feelings honored as a child? Were we encouraged to talk about our feelings? Did people help us to feel our feelings, to talk about our feelings, to give us words what our feelings are? Or were they more repressed and not acknowledged? Like a lot of people, a lot of parents, and say also negative things about when you're emotional. For example, boys don't cry, don't be upset, don't be a drama queen, or stop fussing around. So unfortunately, a lot of people don't have a healthy experience in their childhood, and they couldn't learn how to deal with their emotions properly. Some people were even not allowed to show their physical pain. For example, if somebody hurts themselves, they fall down and have hurt their knee. Some parents say, don't cry, it doesn't matter, you don't have pain, just swallow it. So that's very unhealthy. And so when you grow up and you have these negative experiences from your childhood, sometimes it's even scary to feel your feelings because you feel like you're emotionally like a child again. You feel you're like 5 years old, you fall down, and you're not allowed to be sad because you hurt your knee. So we're basically now already at emotional problems. There are 3 main emotional problems: repressed emotions, to be emotional limited, and emotional addictions. So how do we know if we carry any repressed emotions? Basically, if you think about the situation, if you overreact, for example, somebody criticizes you and you get very angry or very upset, if you have a strong and overstrong reaction, then you know you have repressed emotions in yourself. So you can think in your daily life, was there any situation where you overreacted? And if yes, then you have repressed emotions. Then another emotional issue can be that you keep yourself emotionally safe and limited. So at the beginning, I thought to be emotionally safe is something nice, but actually not. So if we are emotionally shamed or wounded, for example, as a child, then often there's a big likelihood that you develop this pattern of keeping yourself emotionally safe. So basically, you try to don't feel bad again. You try to keep yourself away from a bad experience. So you stay in a neutral ground. You're neither very happy nor very sad, but you're kind of in between. And so because you try to prevent to have this bad feeling. And the problem is, if you keep yourself in this neutral ground, then very good things cannot show up for you. You cannot, maybe you should get a very great job or a very nice experience, but it cannot show up because you're in this state. And yeah, I want to give an example. I heard a story of a woman. She had a traumatic experience with her dad when she was younger. She was abandoned by him. He didn't take care of her. And when she grew up, she had a lot of romantic relationships with men. And she always had partners which were more attracted to her than she to them. And always men where she felt like she couldn't like really open up her heart. She cannot share her heart completely. And she tried through that to stay in a safe place where she cannot be hurt, because if she would give her heart completely, then it could be also completely crushed. So she stayed in this superficial level of relationship. And she wasn't happy. She thought she could be happy, but she actually wasn't. And then she did emotional healing, and then she realized that, and now she's happily married.
Congratulations.
So yeah, I thought it's a nice example. Maybe you have also your own experiences and examples in your own life. You can think about your past. Then the third problem I wanted to tackle are emotional addictions. And one of the three of the most common are anger, sadness, and guilt. You can be addicted to any emotion, but those are quite common. So basically, they're emotional patterns, emotions you experience on a daily basis, a few times a week or once a week. These patterns, these frequencies, you can get addicted to. And if you're, for example, addicted to anger, you would provoke experiences where you feel anger again and again. So, yeah, and the interesting thing is that if you're addicted to an emotion, it's usually a substitute for something else. For example, with anger is often a substitute for self-confidence. So if a person gets, for example, criticized, is in a bad situation, instead of showing I'm weak, I'm actually not self-confident, they get angry. And so it's also kind of a protection mechanism. But yeah, it's actually a substitute, and it's important to know what are you substituting. Yeah, and the same can also happen, for example, with sadness and guilt. To be addicted to guilt, that you're guilty about everything and you say sorry too often, you get very easy sad. Yeah, so think about it, which emotions you have very often in your life, and yeah, think if you're substituting for anything. Okay. So, and now I would like to come to probably the most interesting part, how to be emotionally balanced and how to be and stay emotionally healthy. I have 5 tips. I have actually much more, but I believe that's for the beginning, it's enough. So first of all, one tip how to get rid of emotional luggage, or to be emotionally healthy and get emotionally healthy, is EFT and emotion code. EFT is the emotional freedom technique. It's a tapping technique. A lot of health practitioners use it. It can help you to get rid of negative energy and put positive energy into your body. And yeah, and emotion code I explained already. You get rid of emotional luggage. And one point I think is also very practical, which emotion code emphasizes, is how to be able to be emotionally healthy and don't get emotional luggage in your system. And it is by giving your emotion attention. It's very easy. You identify your emotion. For example, I am feeling sad at the moment, and you don't repress it, you just feel it, you just give the emotion space. So usually a couple of minutes, maximum 5 minutes, that's enough. Just feel the emotion, just in a constructive way. You don't have to, if you're angry, hit somebody. Just let it be. It's here. I feel the emotion.
Is that number 3, Hannah?
Sorry?
Is that tip number 3, or does it belong still to the emotion code?
It belongs to emotion code. So the first one was EFT, and then the second one was emotion code. And the emotion code emphasizes that emotions want to be accepted and to be felt.
Okay.
Yeah. And then tip number 3, that's not 3, is to get less quickly offended. It's not so easy. It's easier to be offended and feel upset if somebody criticizes you. But yeah, you can also think, if a person offends you, there's always a reason behind it. Usually it's not you. It's because they have a bad day. Their family has a problem. I want to give an example. I work in a kindergarten at the moment, and there was a boy. He got from one day to the other quite aggressive, and he was starting to hit children, and he was disrespectful to me and to other adults. And we were at the beginning angry, and we wanted to discipline him. And then we realized that his parents go through a divorce, and he doesn't get enough care and love, and has a lot of tension at home. So actually he needs more care from us, and so he could calm down and be less aggressive and fit into the group again. So it's very important to know the background of a person and to don't judge, okay, this person is so angry and upset, they're just, I don't know, upset, messed up people. But yeah, just to be curious, to have an open mind, and to yeah, don't take it personal immediately. Also, if somebody criticize you, maybe it's good to take a step back and to think later, okay, is there anything true about it? For example, somebody tells you, you're such a selfish person. Then you can think, is it true? If not, just leave it, let it go. It doesn't have to bother you. And yes, if you are a bit selfish or very selfish, you can work on it. Okay, that sounds a bit easy, but in the situation, it's not so easy. I know that. Then another tip, that's tip number 4, is to make things fun. So it doesn't matter what you do, if you do the dishes, if you do shopping and you think actually it's very boring, you can make it more fun. You can listen to music, you can enjoy daily things. And also, if you are in a positive mood, don't let other people take your joy away. I mean, there are a lot of people with a bad mood, but you can just try to stay in this positive wave, and that will also help your emotional health. And tip number 5 is to have healthy boundaries. It is also very important to know what are your priorities and when to say no. People can be very stressed and very emotionally overloaded because they cannot say no. They don't set any boundary, and people can treat you, you can feel like a doormat. People, you say yes to everything, and then you feel like, oh my God, these people force me to do so many things, but actually it's your own fault because you didn't set any boundaries. So that's very important. And interestingly, a lot of people who have anger issues, they have also problems with their boundaries because they cannot say no, and then they get angry. I have too much to do. I'm so stressed out. So yeah, maybe the problem is with you. Yeah, so it's good to reflect about these points.
First of all, thank you, Hannah. It was such valuable content. I learned so much from this, really. Some things that I didn't even know, so it's very grateful. I wrote a lot of notes down, and I definitely have to reflect upon that. So I understood what stuck out most to me is when you explained the 3 unhealthy ways of relating with emotions. You said the first one is when you have an overstrong reaction, then you have an oppressed emotion inside of you. And yes. On the mental health talk, I think we talked about it. I gave an example even. And it's basically, other people name it also trigger. It's a trigger. And it goes back all the way to the childhood where there was an issue, and then you're constantly subconsciously reminded of that. The next one you said, which was interesting, staying emotionally safe. I understood that as being almost like numb to emotions. You're not positive nor negative. You have maybe no reactions. I actually know somebody who's like that, and it's very interesting. And I guess I understand more now why that person is that way. It's really just to protect themselves, right? Of not getting any disappointment from life or from people. The last one was emotionally addicted. Wow, that is something interesting. I think if you said it's once a week you feel that emotion, I surely am emotionally addicted to a lot of emotions, because I do feel regularly the same emotions.
Did you also substitute something?
Well, I have to reflect about that now, because you made a good point, So I have to think now and sit down, what am I substituting for that? Why do I experience that so often? Why do I trigger that? Before I did all my healing work, recently it's gotten better, but I think was addicted to anger, because I experienced anger a lot. Anger and sadness, those two was strong for me. It's gotten way less because of doing a lot of healing work, and so it's gotten better a lot, I would say, but it's still there. Surely more than once a week I experience that. But I now want to sit down, since you mentioned it, and I want to really ask myself, why do I do that? And what am I missing? What question did you say that we can ask ourselves? What am I trying to substitute? What do I want in that moment? So let's say I'm getting very sad. Would I have to ask myself now, not why am I getting sad, or what is it that I actually need and want instead of the sadness?
Yeah, you can put it that way.
I can put it that way.
What am I substituting? For anger, it is often self confidence.
Yeah.
So maybe also something you can work on your character.
Because surely nobody wants to feel angry and feel sad. Nobody wants to feel it. And I would probably answer to you immediately without deeply thinking about it. I would probably say, well, I'm sad. I don't want to substitute anything. I'm sad. I feel alone, That would be my straight answer. But now I have to think about, okay, what is it actually that I need and what I'm trying to substitute? It's very...
If you feel an emotion frequently, it doesn't have to be always an addiction. For example, you lost a person, you're for months sad. It's probably not an addiction.
Yeah.
But if it's really like you have it already for a year and you feel the emotion on a regular basis, yes, that can be an addiction.
I think the anger example that you made was a very good one, because often people are really trying to hide something behind the anger, right? They're showing off the strong emotion, but inside they're weak, or they don't feel secure. Like you said, they're lacking confidence. They're just trying to not show that to the outside world. So that is a good example.
It could be also that you want more attention, because you're like, oh, I feel so bad today, and this happened to me, and then people come to you and like, oh, you're so poor, can I help you? So maybe you're lacking attention.
What about the people who don't show their sadness? Like, I'm not showing that, and I go and hide because I don't want anybody to see my sadness. So what could I try to substitute there? Any inspiration? Otherwise I'll just have to reflect upon that.
Maybe you want to be strong in front of other people.
Oh yeah, surely that's true. That's true. Which is not a good thing. I should be able to express it in a healthy way. Which brings us to the tips that you gave us. You said EFT, emotion code, and you said through emotion code there is, they emphasize a lot that the emotion wants attention. I like that so much, because I think that already helps us to not let the emotion get stuck inside of us. If every time we feel something, we allow it just to be there, like you said, maximum 5 minutes. Feel less offended. by reminding ourselves that other people usually have a story that they are going through, like that little boy. He has a reason for why he behaves that way, but of course you cannot know that, you know, so you just see his anger. So we have to remind us that everyone is going through something, usually when they react strongly. And then making healthy boundaries, yeah, and not getting angry or thinking about why am I getting angry? Yeah, because I'm not saying my boundaries. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a good topic. So I hope I summarized the main important points. It was very, very valuable, Hannah, what you gave us tonight.
Yeah, and also to make things fun was
Yes.
also a point, and EFT.
Yeah. EFT is something that we will teach in the 4-week program. So definitely something to look forward to. I love this technique. I discovered it this year and I'm a huge fan of that. That's one of the go-tos that I'm using recently together with Emotion Code, and has helped me really tremendously, I think, to make improvements in my life and heal my triggers to not get offended. Yeah.
I'm happy that it helped you.
Oh yeah.
It helped me as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still want to do, I mean, it could be also a homework or a practical tip, is to go through an activation and clearing script for emotional affluence.
Yes, absolutely. That I want to absolutely do. We will do that in an extra session, so it's not going to be part of this video. I will pause and then we will attach it to you. And for everyone who wants to get a taste of EFT, you can have that taste. And Hannah will do a clearing session for us. And you can do that, I guess, as often as you want, but she will describe a little bit more about that. Now I would just like to thank you everyone for watching, and I wish you good experiences with trying out the tips that Hannah shared with us. Please give us feedback to tell us how it's going, and until next week, thank you.